Okay, where do I begin? Well, I was trying to make this more of a organized video. I wanted to focus more on something that I don't talk about a lot. Um, I sort of touch on it a little bit at random times, but I wanted to talk about anxiety and depression and the effect that it has on people with epilepsy and even chronic illnesses. And so lately it's been pretty tough for me. The other day on, let's see, it was not yesterday, not this last Sunday, but not this last Saturday, but the Saturday before. I woke up that morning, and the night before I was fine, okay? I actually tried dyeing my hair red, which completely screwed up because it only dyed my roots red, which kind of made me upset, but everything was fine, okay? And, so, anyway, next morning, I wake up with the worst double vision, and like I couldn't even get up without falling over. And my roommate, my best friend, who has seen this double vision before, like knows what, like, there was definitely anxiety for her too. But what happened was I woke up, and the day before I thought I had a UTI. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. And so I had been drinking cranberry juice, and I thought I was fine. The next morning I wake up and I had to use the bathroom really bad. So even though I had double vision, I got up, and my roommate said, she had asked me like how I was feeling that morning, and I said, well, I have really bad double vision, so not that great. And then she said, oh no, that's not good. And then I had to go to the bathroom really bad, so I sat up, which was really dumb. But I mean, what else would I do? So I get up and fall off the bed, crash into my roommate's dresser, and almost break her tea sets. And I believe this, well, it's actually not that bad anymore, but the lighting. It was really bad before, but see that bruise? It is from that, I believe. And after that happened, one of my other roommates came in and said, oh, is everything okay? And it was kind of a blur after that, and I said, yeah, everything's fine, you know, I'm just kind of dizzy. And so I actually had to get on the floor and crawl my way to the bathroom. And they made sure I actually got there okay. And luckily, like, I was scared I was gonna throw up in the sink. And I just knew that I needed to get back into my bed so I could, you know, because the bed is where you want to be. And I've talked about this before. I don't remember which episode, but about 3 years ago this happened. No, wait. 2 or 3 years ago this happened, where I ended up in the hospital almost dying from dehydration. And it started out this way, but this way it was so much worse, much more severe. And so like the moment I get back into bed, I guess my speech was really slurred like it had been, but I didn't know that because it's like 2 years ago when this happened before, my speech was really slurred, but it didn't feel that way to me. It just sounded normal to me, but my dad thought I was on drugs. And this time, I kept telling my roommate, I'm like, okay, I need you to get my phone. And she's like, what? And it just got me so frustrated. I was like, I need my trash can, because I knew I was going to throw up. And she's like, what? And it just made me so mad, because I'm like, how does she not know, you know? And so finally I get the trash can, and it was just, it was awful. And then I had her I wanted her to call my mom, and my dad wasn't answering. So I had her get on my phone, and she called my mom and told her what was happening. And my mom said, well, I'm giving someone a ride, but I'll be there in like 20 minutes or half hour. So she finally arrives, and she tells Adelaide, my friend, to like see if she could help me get outside. And then Adelaide said, like, I don't think there's a way I could do that. So my mom came inside, and of course I live on the top floor, so my other roommate, she had to get on the other side of me and help me get out the door and down the stairs. And I almost threw up in the grass. And as we were driving, I just had my head in my hands, and I couldn't see at all, and just double all around. So when I got to the hospital, it was kind of the same as it had been a couple years ago. They asked me all these questions. They got me into a wheelchair. They were trying to ask me these questions, like what's going on, but it was all kind of a blur. And I just got so mad at them for like asking me these questions, because like they should be, you know, like, of course I'm kind of irrational at this point, so like it was annoying me, but you know, it probably wasn't as it seemed, because my brain was just not in its right state. But to me, it was really annoying. I just wanted to get in a room and get taken care of. So finally they take me into a room after asking me like a million questions, and all these nurses were laughing, but I finally get in a room. They take all these tests, all these blood tests, all these IVs, and I always almost pass out from blood tests, and I have before, but I just didn't even care. And I pretty much lost all sense of privacy in the hospital, which kind of happened a couple years ago, but especially this time. There's a lot of stuff they had to do, and so yeah, I lost all sense of privacy. But you know, whatever, they had to do what they had to do. And they were keeping track of me, and the double vision wasn't going away, and they actually rushed me into an MRI. But I remember, even though it was all a blur, I remember they were talking about, like, they had to turn off my VNS because you can't go in there since it's metal. So they had to have a neurologist at the hospital come and turn off my VNS so I could get the MRI done. So he came into that, and I had never had it turned off before, so I was really scared. But got the MRI done, and I had been throwing up like crazy, so I was like freaking out in the MRI, and I was freaking out that I was gonna have a seizure, and that I would throw up in the MRI and they would have to redo everything. But I made it through, and then soon after, well, actually it took a while, but the neurologist came back in and turned on my VNS, and I guess one of the things they were worried about was, like, the reason why they wanted to rush me in to get an MRI is because all the signs that I had been showing, like slurred speech, not being able to do simple things, they would try and get me to like squeeze their hands, or like even, here, let's see, if I can, like, even. Okay. They would have me, like, it would be like this. They're like, can you do this? Like this. Like, really fast. And I couldn't do it. I would just, like, sit there and stare at my hands. And I couldn't do it. And so they said that all the signs that I had were signs of a stroke. And, but luckily the MRI didn't show any signs of that. And they also didn't see any tumors or anything. And that completely freaked me out because I didn't even know what was happening with that whole thing until they told me after. And then I actually asked them for real if I was going to die. And they said, no, I'm not going to die. But I kept getting tests done, and then they're like, yeah, we want to admit you to the hospital for a night and see what's going on. And so I ended up staying in the hospital overnight, which is not the most fun. I didn't sleep a whole lot. Since I was so dizzy and seeing double, I had to have a nurse hold me every time I wanted to, like, get up or anything. And, like, even to go to the bathroom, like, they would have to, like, watch me sit down. So that is another thing I was talking about with privacy. Like, you just don't have any. And then they have you pull, like, a cord after to let them know that you're done, even though they're pretty much just standing right outside the door, so it's like, what's the point? And anyway, there's a lot of other stuff that they did, but I'm not going to go into detail with that. But yeah, they did all these tests. The night when I spent the night, there was this, oh my gosh, I was lying down trying to sleep, and I just kept hearing this, like, fading, like, beeping noise in my ear, like, both ears, no matter what. And I thought it was maybe next door in another room, you know, like a machine or something, but it just wouldn't turn off. So I paged a nurse, and I was like, you know, I think it's my IV machine. I think it's coming from there. So I came in, and they said, oh, like, I've never even noticed that before, because it's so, like, faded that they didn't even know how I was able to hear that, but they tried covering it with, like, a pillowcase to try and mask the sound, which didn't help. But then stupid thing. But then she asked if I wanted, like, earplugs and or something, so they got me earplugs and a mask, like a face mask, which was amazing because I love face masks and I use those all the time. And my mom was sleeping in the chair, and they would come in at 8 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or no, 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. They would come in, take my vitals, and then, like, around the second time, the nurses would follow the phlebotomist. Then they would take my blood, and I would just, like, put my arm over my head and just, like, take deep breaths and, like, not even look over. And so, yeah, it was definitely very emotional and a very difficult time. I had my sister come visit me and my dad, and of course my mom was there, and then my nephew and my sister's husband came to visit too. And luckily I only had to stay there for like a day and a half, but I still don't know what caused it. And she's not technically a neurologist, but apparently, like, a bunch of doctors got together and they were trying to talk about my whole case. She said one of the things that she thinks it could be is called a complex migraine, and I've never even heard of these before, but she said that she isn't like don't take her word for it because she doesn't you know, this isn't diagnosis or anything, but that's something that we should think about. And honestly, I haven't done a lot of research on it because I'm still freaked out over what's happened in the past week. And every time my mom would talk about the whole thing, I would start crying and get emotional. But I will be looking up and doing more research into that. But I used to have migraines before I had seizures, and those are actually they kind of go together sometimes. So I don't know. Yeah, so when I got out of the hospital, because they were like, you know, there's nothing else we can do for you here, so a lot of people just want to go home and recover. Like, if it gets worse, come back, but like, go home and recover, it's better. So I went home and I stayed with my parents for like 4 days or something. 4 days. And they took care of me and stuff. And then I got back to my apartment, which was actually really hard for the first day because of all the memories that are here from when, you know, that happened. And like my trash still had my throw up in it, which was really disgusting. And all that. So, but I'm doing better, and yeah. So, this video, I'm sorry guys, my videos are always long, but I appreciate that you even click on them, and watch them, even if it's just part of them. But part of, like I said at the beginning of this video, I want to talk about anxiety and depression. And something that I don't really talk about that much, but it's something that I have. I've been diagnosed with anxiety, with insomnia, it's been kind of like on and off with depression, but mainly it's anxiety and insomnia, but here's anxiety. So anxiety. Last night, oh my gosh, I didn't have a panic attack, but or an anxiety attack, but I was so anxious, and I don't know why. So, like, all my roommates went off to do something, and I ended up staying, and I'm glad I did because I was able to relax. Now, when they got back later, I was playing video games with my roommate. Well, she was on the phone with someone, and we were playing, and then I stopped, and I went into a seizure, and I just, like, was frozen, and my roommate just, like, you know, she's my best friend, so she knows, like, so she just looked away and did her own thing and waited, and I just kept getting more and more, and, like, the whole cluster started happening, and I was really upset because I hadn't had any seizures before I started my period, and I thought, I ended my period yesterday, and I was like, yes, like, I haven't had any, and I'm really excited, but then, of course, last night I have them, so I have this cluster, and my head was killing me so bad, so I had to take ibuprofen, and then I went to bed pretty early, and, so, yeah. Another thing is that today I woke up to go clean my sister's house that I do every week. And, oh my gosh, my head was like hurting this morning, but I got up to go anyway. And I thought that all the seizures were gone and done because last night was all my clusters and stuff. But I get there, and as I'm cleaning the kitchen, I start going into clusters and just kept having seizures over and over again. And my head was hurting so bad, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep going because my sister's gone and my nephew's gone, you know, I might as well just keep going. But then after a while, I just wasn't getting anything done because I kept freezing and staring, and my head was killing me, so I took a break. And I felt really bad, but, yeah. So, something. Well, so I took a break and I was gonna, keep track of my time. I usually clean for 2 hours, and I was gonna clean for 3 today. But when I decided to get back up and go for it, and I took a lorazepam, which is like my seizure stopper pill, and then I also swiped my magnet, so it was, I got up to go clean some more, and then, nope, they just kept coming. So I went downstairs, and I said to my sister that, they're not stopping, and she said, well, like, your options, you can come back tomorrow, or can wait and see what happens, or, whatever. And I went downstairs, and I was just, like, out of it. And my nephew, none of my nephews, or my niece, they don't know that I have epilepsy. I mean, my nephew, who I just saw today, he's 4. And my niece is almost 6. And my other nephew, who has autism, he is 3. So, I mean, I haven't really had a reason to tell them that today, like, I went downstairs and I was lying on my sister's bed, and she was saying, like, what do you want to do? You could come tomorrow, you could just lie down for a bit, and she's like, you know your body the best. So, but then my nephew said, hey, Sarah, come in here and listen to these songs. And so I went in there, and I just kept getting into seizures, and he saw that I wasn't responding, and I think it was kind of nerve-wracking, and he was just wondering why I wasn't responding. He's a kid. He was wondering why I wasn't responding. And then I just got up and left, and I went into my sister's room again. And then I went upstairs and sat on the stairs, and my nephew comes up and asks if I want to play, like, a game, and then I got into, like, this weird position because of my seizures, and I was just, like, sitting weird, and he's like, why are you saying anything? Why aren't you talking? And he's like, don't you want to, this is a fun game, don't you want to play? And I just felt so bad. And so my sister says, like, hey, come downstairs, like, I need to talk to you right now. So he goes downstairs, and I can hear the entire conversation. Basically, she tells him that I have seizures, and he asked what seizures are, and he got, like, he wasn't scared or anything, but, like, from what I could hear, he asked if, like, everyone had them, like, boys or girls, and then my sister said, only some people are born with it, and that sometimes when I have a seizure, I don't talk, and that's okay. And so he would repeat that over and over, and he seemed to, like, be fine. I mean, he's a kid. But I felt really bad because he had been, like, trying to play a game with me, and I just was like, I couldn't. So tomorrow I'm going back over there and going to clean more. Oh, I just feel so awful. And so I, like, normally, I don't know, I've been breaking down a lot more, and I think maybe it's been because of all the stress that I've been going through, but my anxiety, I haven't had an anxiety attack in a while, thank goodness. My medication has been helping with that. But anyway, I feel like it's turned into something that's not really about anxiety. But yeah, right now I'm gonna take a nap. And, but I am excited, sort of, because I'm going to Hawaii with some family on October 9th or 10th, and something like that. And we're going to be staying in Maui, thanks to my sister's in-laws, and really excited. And anyway, so I have an appointment with, I keep touching my face, sorry. I have an appointment with my therapist right after we get back, and then an appointment with my neurologist after I get back. But since I've been going through all of this and all this seizure stuff is happening right now, my mom, I guess, called the office and they actually were able to bump me up despite of all the schedules and stuff, which is really great. And I love my neurologist, but I don't know if it's just me, but I hate going to the neurologist. I just hate it. It's not her. I love her, but it's the fact that I'm going to a neurologist because every time is different. Every time we talk about something new-ish, I mean, sometimes we just kind of stay on the same topic where we just talk about medications or something, but it just, like, things can change so fast, and I get kind of paranoid about it, and I'm kind of scared, but, she's a great neurologist, and I really recommend her. She's actually the PA, because I never ever get to see the real neurologist, because that's how things are, I guess, really. That's always happened with, like, all of my neurologists. I rarely see the actual ones, but I like her. And so we're gonna try and figure out something, hopefully. And this video is really long, but yeah. I'm surprised I haven't had any seizures in this video because I wasn't able to walk home. I had to get a ride home from my brother-in-law, who luckily was able to leave work early, and my sister was going shopping anyway, and anyway, they gave me a ride. Because I knew that if I walked, even though it's not too far away, I knew that I could, get hurt or, stop in the middle of an intersection or something, and that wouldn't be good. So, yeah. No on that. And, yeah. Guys, are there any videos that you want me to make? Also, I'm really excited because I have 205 subscribers, I think. And I am incredibly grateful because making this channel making it was just for fun. But when I really started in this whole thing 4 years ago, I didn't expect anyone to watch these videos. And even though I don't get a ton of views, I still am grateful that I'm able to get out to some of you guys. Because that's what I want to do. And I think that, epilepsy awareness is something that really not a lot of people know about. And one of my passions is to get people aware about it. And I'm still working on doing that, and I don't know. I love making videos for you guys, and I'm actually really upset because the other day I wrote a blog post, and then my computer, even though it said it was saved, it told me to restart, and then it wasn't saved. So I kind of just gave up on that, but that's okay. So I'll be writing another one soon once I feel better. And anyway, let me know if you have any ideas. If you have any questions or anything, I'd love to make a video about it. If you want to email me too, feel free. I have my email down in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching this long video. And if you made it to the end, thank you. I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.